So hello everybody, welcome back. Yes, I'm making another balcony video. Um, yes, there is no power as you can tell, and yes, there are a lot of issues related to this topic. So let's continue with the drama thing. Anyway, as you can tell, that neighbor has a generator, my neighbor has a generator, and there is a lot of people that have generators, and there is a lot of people that have those light bulbs that are for emergencies and things like this. And there is moonlight, so it is not that dark. Now, having said that, then grab your coffee, and if you wanted to share one to me, you will add it. Links for that down below. And we are going to be talking about our ancestors and the way that they used to deal with lack of electricity, power, and all kinds of things. So be aware of this topic because it's kind of, it's kind of hard to talk about these things. So the first one is going to be obviously about fire. A lot of people are going to use fire to deal with the lack of light and to deal with the lack of heat. I have mentioned this before. When you're dealing with electricity, you want to understand what the electricity that we have right now is being used for. So we have heating, cooling, we have welding, we have lighting, we have powering, which is you're moving something, and then we also have other purposes, and then we have natural light at night, which is the moonlight, and we also have the light that is produced in the storms, as in lighting from storms. And so there are issues with each one of these topics, and you want to understand this one and separate them so that you can try to figure out things. So for substitution in terms of heating, like I said, fire is going to be used, and the problem with this is going to be the following. A lot of people will use regular fire settings, which is the tripod thing, and when that happens, even outside, you will have a lot of issues. Number one, you might have problems with the soil because you might be doing this on top of the soil. This means that you might be burning the ground. Also, if you are in a campsite or in a place outside, you will leave your footprint because of that. And so if you are being tracked or anyone is surrounding you, they will know that you're there because of the fire. However, you can avoid that one by buying that fire pit so that you can set the fire above the ground. That one is a little bit expensive and it's heavy, and it will help you out a lot, and it will also help you to maintain certain areas within this thing. The problem with this is that it requires cleaning and maintenance, and it might be an issue, as in you need fire globes and you need other stuff to handle that one, like tools and other stuff. However, it is safer than the alternative, which is you not having that. So for power outages and you cooking outside and you doing a lot of activities that are outside, I will recommend you buy that thing. I think on Amazon it's $200 or something like that. I forgot the amount, but it should be right around that amount of money, especially good quality. You do not want to buy this one cheap, because if you buy it cheap, then it can be a problem, especially in winter, because metals, as you can tell, they bend when they are crashing against cold and hot, and so you want to buy it in a way that it doesn't bend and at the same time it's sturdy and things like this, which means, like I told you, that it's going to be heavy, and so you might need men to handle this one. Also, our ancestors used to have the fire made by men, but it was always taken care of by children and by women. As in, women or children were the ones that were always using some sort of way to wind or use air to blow the fire, so to speak. And this also meant that even right now, on the countryside, when they are calling the traditional fire setting, which is that one, women will have, in the long term, problems with their hands. And they will also have problems with their breathing, because you are always breathing the black thing that comes out of the fire. And the kids are also more likely to develop problems like burns or sensitivity in their hands, or problems with breathing for the same reasoning. And so also at this point, I'm going to tell you right now that fire is going to be extremely expensive. And the reason being is that I want you to think for a second, how much lumber, as in wood, do you think you will need per year? Just take a guess of how many trees will you have to shut down or cut down just for your family, an average family of 4 or maybe 6 people. And so, yeah, ready? The answer is between 40 and 60, and that is you having a weather that it is mild, like the one that we have here in my country. So if you were going to have winter and other things that we do not have, then that amount is probably going to be way more. So the amount is between 40 and 60 trees per year. So depending upon the thickness, because remember, some trees are thicker than others depending upon the age of the tree. So if you have to shut down literally 40, let's say that you happen to get very lucky, 40, that means that once every 8 days or once a week, you will have to go out just to take down an entire tree, chop it off without having tools for doing that other than your axe, and then carry that wood to your house. Now, carrying that wood is going to be very hard. You chopping it off in pieces is going to be also very hard, especially if it is raining, and then the wood can become heavier and things like this. It's not going to be that hard during the dry season or summer, but other times it will be heavier and it will not be that good either. Also, you need to learn how to dry that wood, because otherwise the fire might not be able to withstand the temperatures that you need it to be. And so if you have winter and you have other things, then you are probably going to spend, let's say, 70 to 80 trees per year for your family. Now, at this point, you will have one man for the entire family going outside just so that they can get the wood. Now, if your man is going outside just to get wood, then you are left behind to get the water, fetch the food, and the gardens and everything else, if you were going to be in the ancient times. And that is why most people try to live towards the city and things like this, and that is why people started doing farming with cows and all kinds of things, because that is one way in which you can get certain food, and even then it's going to be like a topic, okay? And so when you're talking about going the way that your ancestors did it, yeah, you want to improve their technology. I mean, you still want to go analogic, but you still need to improve their technology. And therefore, I will strongly suggest to build the fire kitchen thing, so that you can set up the fire by using scraps, as in small branches and even leaves and anything that can catch fire and is fire for cooking. As in, you're not going to burn plastic or something like that in there, okay? You have to buy the materials, or you have to go and collect them as in natural things, and it's not going to be that hard. And for this one you will need to actually build the setups, and the setups are done in a way in which you can have two stoves, as in two fireplace for placing a pan or a tool for cooking, and then one oven. And this one will require you learning how to maintain it and how to clean it, which means that you will also need a kit for ashes and dealing with that. But other than that, it's going to be your best choice. This one can be done by using wood or concrete, and or a mixture of wood and concrete and sand and other stuff. This has specifications. You can look them up online. It's 2 meters by 1 meter or something like this, and it has to be that specification. If you build it bigger, then the fire that you're setting will not be optimized, and therefore you will spend more fuel. And if you build it smaller, then the fire is going to be too heated, and it will produce more waste, and it will also create more problems in terms of the ventilation and other issues. So it has to be that particular model, and has been tested for over, I think that they tested it over 400 or something models that people tried, like adding 1 inch, adding another inch the other way, adding one height, adding whatever it is, and quite frankly it did not work at all. The best design is the one that I just told you. So you need to optimize the fire in your house, because if not, then your man is going to be always looking for wood. And at this point, I'm going to tell you that transporting that wood is going to be, like I told you, a major problem, because if you don't have a car, you don't have fuel, and you don't have a lot of things, then you will have to do it by hand, and people will know that you're having fire cooking the materials. And if you have neighbors, they will know that you have wood, they will ask you for it, and then you will have a lot of issues, because as soon as neighbors find out that you have a lot of things, then it's going to be like a topic. So you want to avoid prying eyes as much as possible, and with this you can do that, because you can cook and you can use a fire with very little smoke, and you can even dampen that one by using cardboard and using wet cardboard things, so that you can reduce the smoke, and it's not going to be like a big topic. Okay, so the in between materials and all of those things, it will cost around I think $600, maybe $800 here to build that, but it will last you like forever, literally, unless it breaks because like an earthquake or something like that, but that one is a bigger problem. But other than that, that one is very, very sturdy. It will be able to be used for hundreds, if not, I don't know how many years, but I'm guessing hundreds of years. And it can add to the value of your property, because people will know that they can have a barbecue and they can have everything outside, and it will not be a problem, because now you don't have to go and spend your entire life looking for wood and trying to set up fires and things like this. And it's easy. It's something that even people that do not have a lot of experience in handling fire can manage, because handling fire is extremely difficult. Also, if you do not have something like this, then like I said, you are leaving behind prints that other people were there or whatever, because you are using fire within the ground, and it's going to be like a topic. And so you want to understand that there are places in which you are not allowed to use fire, because the use of fire can create a wildfire within that area, especially during summer or during certain times of the year. And when that happens, then you can accidentally create such a disaster that can destroy thousands of lives and acres and all kinds of things. And it is because most people do not know how to handle fire. And like I told you before, lack of propane, it is going to be one of the side effects of hyperinflation, and it is also going to be one of the side effects of the power outages. And when you don't have propane, you will understand the importance of having alternatives to this thing. Because I have mentioned before, you going after fuel for your car is one thing. You going after fuel for cooking is another one. And you going after fuel so that you can have heat for the winter, or so that you can have cooling during the summer, is an entire thing. So you will need bigger families to handle all of the tasks just to maintain a level of survival. And I do mean like maintain a level of survival. People will barely make it. And the reason being is, like I told you before, you will have fights with people that are abroad. If they leave your country and then they are abroad, they will not understand what the hell are you doing. But here's the deal: you will spend the entire day trying to get fuel, like propane. There are times in which there are people that spend literally 3 or 4 days on the street trying to get one canister or one thing for propane, so that they can cook for 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. So if you have to spend 3 or 4 days in line so that you can get that one, then you are not doing anything else. Then sometimes, depending upon where you are, you can spend, like I told you before, I have seen the stories of people that have been trying to get fuel for the car, like gasoline or diesel or whatever you want to call it, up to 3 weeks. Okay, so we'll continue talking. I had to go interrupted. So anyway, you will spend days trying to get that thing. And if now, there are places in which you can take tap water and you can drink directly from that, and the tap water is clean and it is safe for you to drink, and it is safe for you to cook, and it is safe to you to shower and do whatever it is that you want to do with that, gardening or whatever. But I'm going to tell you right now that if you are in a place like that, then you are beyond lucky, because water is going to be polluted all over the planet, to the point in which it is not safe, not even for doing laundry, not even for gardening, not even for anything. And when you get water through the pipe, you are not going to be able to use it for almost anything other than cleaning. And it is going to be like a big topic. And at this point, you want to understand, how are you going to get potable water, as in drinking water? Drinking water is extremely expensive. You will need the blue bottles that I told you. You will need to go out and try to get it someplace. And if you get it from an underground source, then this means that somebody has to have fuel so that they can get the water pump to work, because you are not going to get water through the underground without power, unless you have a specific well. And quite frankly, no, I have not seen any well that you can manage to have or whatever without having power. And so you need the water pump, you need to have maintenance, you need spare parts for the water pump, and you need a lot of things related to that topic. And therefore you are going to spend we currently, like I showed you before, we currently spend 2 or 3 days during the week. We have to spend about 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes a little bit more. But it's just for you getting potable water. And that is because we still have a little bit of power. When we didn't have power, then you getting potable water through certain places that will sell it to you, like certain clubs or whatever it is, it can take, I'm not joking, 15 to 20 hours, sometimes 30 hours you in line trying to get 1 bottle of water. And there are people that, when we had the national power outage, that, like I said, they were going desperate and they were even going to the sewers to try to get water. So if you're going to spend your day trying to get wood so that you can have fire, trying to get water so that you don't die, water, then you go and then you are also trying to grab food in whatever place is selling it, that can be that can be obtained with cash, but then there is no cash, then that is how you're going to spend your entire day. You won't have time to sit down and do anything else, because you are going to be doing this literally, unless you have some sort of reserve. And even if you have reserves, you still have to refill them, because all of the water that you have is not going to be enough if people get sick in your house. Also, that water is very likely not going to be enough if all of a sudden you realize that you didn't count that you will be sharing with other people, that there will be other things that are not in the list or not expected, like I have mentioned before, and then you will have all kinds of miscalculations, to the point in which I have a reproduction list or a playlist in the channel that is called Miscalculations. And then in the miscalculations, you want to understand what is the expectations versus reality. Because if your expectations versus reality is going to play against you, then it's going to be a big problem. And therefore, all of these things play a role when you're handling power outages. And so, you want to buy the materials and build this thing within your house. You also want to protect whatever it is that you already have. And you want to make sure that you have alarms for CO2, and make sure that you have alarms that will work against fire, because the probability of things catching fire, the probability of having problems that are related to fire because of your neighbors, your car, the fuel, whatever it is, are going to increase like crazy. Because just like you have a family that probably do not know how to handle a lot of things related to fire, then your neighbors is not also in this situation. So even if you have a prepper within your family, that does not mean that everybody in your family is going to be a prepper also. So you want to have kind of like the same mentality. But even if you have the same mentality, you do not have the same capabilities or capacities. And it's kind of like when you're expecting a woman to do a man's job, or vice versa, you're expecting a man to do a woman's job. And so that one is just not something that you should be doing. You want to try to do your best with the capabilities and the capacities that you yourself have. And therefore, certain things are being done by women because they are better, and certain things will be done by men because they are better at it. And at this point, all of the problems that you have will be increased, because the stress of you not being able to do everything that you used to do is going to play a role against your lifestyle and everything else. And so people will tell you something like, other people are thriving and they're making money. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you are, spending 10 days straight trying to get something, and you are not able to do it because of whatever reason, then your mind is not going to be as strong as before. And anyway, I gotta go, so see you again soon.